Good morning, good people. It's a lovely day, and I decided I'd come outside and make myself a picnic. It was a lovely day until the truck decided to go by. Anyways, let me show you what we've got here on the menu. One, we've got little containers, and yes, they were used, so we're going to recycle them, reuse them for a purpose. These are just food scraps. I made some potato salad yesterday, and instead of dumping the stuff that gets into my sink in my little drainer thingy that catches things from going down the pipes, I put them into a container and I use them. As long as they haven't had any chemicals on them, I do that. So, these are eggshells and looks like some washed out cheese from something I washed. And we're going to scoop this all up and put it in one of these containers. Which is not so easily done with one hand. Just a minute. Alright, so we've got those taken care of. And like I said, I made potato salad. And my kids do not like, unlike their mother, the skins on their potatoes. Now, usually I would use these. I'd put them in the freezer and use them in soups and stuff. But these had a lot of bad places on them, like really weird. Not like bad as in bad for the compost, but bad as in I'm not eating it. So we're going to dish those up and put them in these little containers. See how much we can fill here. They are dried out. They have been overnight. My makeshift table is escaping. Oh no. I also like to keep the wrappers to things like hamburgers and such. And sometimes, if my kids haven't eaten them all, there's a little bit of something in there as well. So, I've got other things to go in here, and that's why I'm not filling them all the way. About halfway full. Now, these potato skins are actually full of all kinds of wonderful nutrients and such because they were not boiled. I peel before I boil. Now, I've got one video, I think it already came out, I could be wrong, where I save the starch water from my pasta. I usually also save the starch water from my potato skins, but I kind of forgot because the colander was over it last night. I forgot to put it in the fridge after it cooled down last night, so I'm just going to add it to one of my buckets. And the starch in that will actually turn into sugar, which will be awesome for the microbials and such like that. But I've got another bucket, and that's going to be a little later in the video. So we still have some more potato skins. But I'm out of containers, so what am I going to do? I'm going to put it in there. See, there's a onion ring that must have gotten away from somebody, or they didn't realize it was down in the bag. And this is just a takeout bag. That's all it is. It does not have any like glossy print or anything on it. So we're going to fill these up too. Actually, we're not going to fill them. We're just going to put some of the potato skins in there. Also, our zips, which is where these are from, put the containers like that in the bags like this, which is where that came from. And they put their hamburgers and cheeseburgers in these nifty little disposable bags. Or, in my case, compostable, biodegradable bags. So we're going to open that up. We're going to take some more of these here potato peels. We're going to put them in the bag. So I cleaned out a pot earlier this weekend. That went in this Wendy's bag. It's just a Wendy's bag, folks. Went in the Wendy's bag with some other things. And now we're going to add some potato skins. But we are going to get this out. This does not go in our lunch sacks. This is plastic. Not sure how that got in there, but we're not going to trifle with it. So there we go. What else do we have here? We have some used napkins. They've only got food on them. It's all good. Put that in there. We're going to save these little bags for later. I've got more. There's some eggshells and stuff that escaped. We're going to put that in there. And then, when I'm done filling these are just going to stay outside. No biggie. And throughout the day, I will come and fill these up. I've got coffee grounds to go in some. And I'll just keep filling. But when I am done filling, what I will do is I will put these, if I'm not ready to use them. Now, what you can do is you can actually put these right down in your planter. That's a planter right there. You can put that right down in your planter, just like this. Now, I would not do this if this planter was going inside, okay? Outside here with the birds and everything, that's perfectly okay. But you can do just like that. And if you don't want to see it, I'm about to knock over my table here. If you don't want to see it, just take some dry dirt. This is a strawberry plant that we won't go into what happened. It got shuffled and I forgot, okay? I apologize, Mr. Robert. Just take a little bit of dry soil. Cover it up with a little bit of dry soil, and what that'll do is actually help it start to break down. When you water right in here, that'll help everything else break down, and it will go ahead and leach into your soil. It's perfectly okay. I have done this a few years, okay? It has never harmed my plants. It has never made anybody sick. But that is how you can compost in place in your container. And if you have worms, like I do, it feeds your worms. Win-win. Everybody wins. So, you get rid of the container. You get rid of your scraps. Your soil gets fed. And if you have worms, they get fed too. What can be easier than that, people? Come on. Now, another container here. This right here is some wet soil that was in a bucket with some food scraps. This is actually, that is actually some herbs that, it's actually sage, I can tell just by smelling it. Sage that was attacked by spider mites. I let it sit out here. Actually, I let it sit downstairs away from all my plants in the middle of winter, but we won't go there. Sorry, my allergies are quite horrendous. But anyways, there was no plants out here, okay? These sat out here. I let them sit out in the cold, in the wet, and the rain, and the snow, and get rid of all those bugs. They were in a Tide. They were actually stuffed in, that's why they look like this. They were stuffed in a 2.5 gallon Ziploc bag. All the air was taken out of it. And it was zipped up tight. And it was let out here in the cold. and the rain, I assure you, it's already started to dwindle down, as you can tell, because it was like that. And again, more grossness for you to look at. But what I'm doing here is, like I said, this bucket was just a little too juicy. So I put some dry soil in there that I had. And this is just going to be a compost bin right now. And we're just going to keep adding more soil and more stuff to it to get that to all break down. If you don't want to smell it, that's perfectly understandable. Put another layer of dry dirt on top to cover everything, because one, that's going to help it break down. You need that soil on top for everything to break down. But I do. I put, this is just a ripped up paper bag, which will actually help dry out some of the soil. And then, of course, our greens, our banana peels. There's some coffee grounds. There's a little worm cocoon. So if the worms can live in this and make cocoons, then it's really not as bad as you think. But I don't want it this juicy. I can tell by the sweet smell of it that it's gone anaerobic, and that's not good. So I need to add some more dirt, some more soil to this to get it to break down. Now, next thing. First off, I don't want to put that anywhere near anything. This, what I was talking about earlier, the water from the potato skins, or from the potatoes I made. This was juicy and wet, and I put enough dry into it to get things going, but I'm not adding that to it. For a simple reason is I need this to dry out. So where am I going to put this? Another compost bin. This one was from winter. I got a bunch of carrots and such, and they went bad before I could process them all. They were actually bad already. But this is okay. This is actually good. It's going to help break things down. But this is too dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my starchy water. That starchy water I just put in there is actually going to get the process of the breaking down process, the composting process, degradation, whatever you want to call it, okay? It's going to get that started, because that starch is going to break down into sugar, which is why diabetics are not supposed to eat pasta in large amounts or potatoes in large amounts. Be glad you can't smell that, my friends. Just be glad. Okay. But that's going to get that started. And we're going to let that air get in there. What you want to do is you want it to be moist, but you also want to get air pockets out. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm actually not get air pockets out. You want to get the air in to help with the compost. There we go. I'll probably work with that a little more when I have one in one hand. And yes, it's gross, but you know what? I clean it and I'll sterilize it in between jobs. But right now, considering I'm doing the same job, I'm not going to do that. So that's gross. Put that down there. And we're going to start with this. More stuff. Now, what is that? You might ask. That's fish. That's fish and water. You want to talk about stinkiness? That actually does not stink at all. It's pretty much like a fermentation. And this is going to help it. So we're in essence making our own fish emulsion out of what was freshly caught fish over a year ago. And see all that? That's starch. I'm going to put more water in that, and I'll bring it out and dump some more in there. But it doesn't smell. Because the fermentation process has already started. There's carrots in there, there's fish in there, and now there's starch in there to help it break down even further. It's just like fermenting, okay? Except you're not going to eat this, because that would just, I don't know, it'd probably kill you or something. But anyways, we're going to get some more water in here and pour it in there to make sure everything's covered up. And then I'm going to put a lid on it loosely and let it sit there and continue rotting. So, I hope that helps somebody decide what to do with food waste instead of throwing it in the trash. How to refurbish soil. And how to compost even the gnarly stuff. And how to reuse your little bags. If you get takeout, keep these little guys. I mean, get the crumbs and stuff out so you don't draw roaches and, ants and stuff. But besides that, you can keep these. Keep little containers. Put your leftovers in there. Put your food scraps in them. These actually are really sturdy and will hold up a long time. And throughout the day, I'll come out here and just evenly distribute, or throughout the week even, evenly distribute things throughout more bags. I just keep them like this so that the wind doesn't blow them away. But once they've got something in them, you can leave them open if you want, or you can close them. You can even put them in. What's important, though, is in order to get them to start breaking down, you want to get that air in there. And once you're ready to use them, just put them in soil and you'll be fine. I hope that helps somebody. And let's stop wasting so much, guys. This is good stuff that you can use to grow food to put in your bellies and your family's stomachs. So don't let it go to waste. Use it. Use every last disgusting bit of it. Y'all have a great day. Bye.